All right. How's everyone doing? Okay, so I just got done talking to a client not too long ago, and this is for business, but you can also apply it to relationships. We're going to talk about failure, but not necessarily learning about failure. We're going to talk about a little bit about failing when it's not your fault. Like in a lot of business in today's economy and environment that we're in, with this new digital currency, and the currencies, paper or fiat currency is going to go away very shortly. Banks are closing, the economy because of inflation. All of these things play in part, and it affects your business or your personal life, because if you work for a company or you have money in the bank, and you probably already heard that some banks are closing and there's some concerns about the coverage of your fiat currency, all of that plays in part in how a CEO or a manager manages their affairs when it comes to business. And a lot of times business, like relationships, do not make it. There's certain unforeseen things that happens that it fails, that has nothing to do with what you did or didn't do. And so therefore, to learn from your failure, that is in context harder than when you've done something and you failed. Okay, like in a relationship, when you were talking to somebody else, or in your relationship, you wasn't giving the relationship everything that you got to give, and so on. And in business, when you didn't budget your finances far enough, and you spent too much money on yourself, and you thought your ego got in the way, and conceitedness got in the way, and things like that. We all can learn from our mistakes, because that's something that I applied onto the business or the relationship. But what happens when you do everything right, you're diligent about your finances, your ego and your conceitedness has been checked, and it's all about taking care of your team, and your relationships is everything. You're trying to give everything you've got to give, and it just doesn't work because something outside of you happened, and it failed. The relationship failed, that was outside of your reach. How do you learn from that? It's hard. Yes, it's harder than failing for something you've done. And so today I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the ideas that I've counseled one of my guys about business, but also let's apply it to relationships, because after all, relationships and personal relationships and business, they're one and the same. There's really no different. We all have relationships. Okay, the first thing when it comes to business and or your personal relationship, and I hate to say it in the personal relationship context, and that is in the very beginning or while you're running your business, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Meaning, you don't want to put all of your hope, all of your energy in this one thing, this one person, this one business. You just can't do it. Not in this environment that we're in today's time. And quite honestly, further out that we look, it's going to be even more difficult due to the fact of AI and so on. Okay. So how do we work this? One of the things in business that you have to work out, and that is your pipeline. Meaning, if you create A, this is your product or this is a service you provide, you have to spend extra time to start producing or constructing or developing B product or service. Because like all things, business has a cycle. There's, very exciting, we're growing, and then all of a sudden it'll get to that peak, and then eventually you'll start seeing that the consumer is not interested anymore. So you have to have the objective of having a product or service, and then start developing a B product or service. Okay, and then if you're having an A and B, you have to start working on a C product and service. Excuse me. When it comes to the personal side of you, I said this in the other videos, when you get into a relationship, and for me, the first 3 months of a relationship, I do not have, or you should not have, hope. Hope is a destroyer or a blindness when it comes to red flags, when it comes to things that people are telling you, but you don't want to hear it, right? And so when I say don't put too much hope in it, the first 3 or 4 months, you're learning your person, you're learning your partner, you're learning them. And so in learning them, they're going to say A, B, and C when you first meet, but then all of a sudden you realize that A, B, and C is really not A, B, and C, it's actually G, F, and Z, or something to that effect, you know what I mean. The point is, they're going to do something that you may not like. They're going to do something you may not desire. They're going to do something that they're going to tell you that they don't like or desire. So it's not just me onto somebody. It's also them onto me. It's a two-way. It's called a relationship. And I don't have hope. You shouldn't have hope. Hope blinds red flags. And you should not be blinded to red flags in the very beginning, because the very beginning in a personal relationship, you're building a foundation. The difference between a personal relationship and the business is the business side of it, you're having a relationship, but if someone doesn't do what you ask them to do and you're paying them to do it, you can actually fire them. And I know in the state of Wisconsin, it's a at-will state, meaning there really is no reason that I need to give you to fire you. Keep in mind, we're not talking about the discrimination laws, so you can't conflict against those. Okay. So anyway, going back to the idea is, when you're in the beginning of a business, when you're beginning of a relationship, personal relationship, when you're in the beginning stages and you're doing good and everything seems like it's working, be very mindful that personal relationships, there may be some things that may come out that you may not like, or they may not like about you. And in business, all products and services, they will get used to it, and then somebody or something else like your competitors is going to have another new product or new service to spark their interest, the consumer's interest. So the first thing is, you have to understand, in the newness, you have to not have hope and plan for a product or service, and then start working on B product or service. Okay. After you work that, I really want you guys to understand how the currency, the fiat currency, your dollar bills that you may or may not have because you're already in a digital format, because you got debit cards and so on. The idea that the currency that we're going to be dealt with in the future, in the very near future, is going to be problematic. Interest, for example, the same currency that you make like for an example, you just make $20 an hour, and you went to go to the groceries, and your groceries, you bought a bread for $1. Okay. Interest is you still make $20 an hour, and you go to the grocery store, and that bread is now $3. And then again, it's $3.50. And then again, that's inflation. Inflation is dangerous because even though the value of the currency, the fiat, is dropping because of the debt relating to it, your paycheck doesn't change. In fact, it's hurting the business at hand, because if personal paycheck doesn't have enough value to my dollar or currency, the fiat currency, and I want to buy, I may decide I don't want to buy that, whatever that product or service is. And so therefore the consumer might be squeezed a little bit, which brings a point of the business side of it. You have to have A, B, and C pipeline for these events, meaning what is valuable? What would the consumer deem as valuable? And what you can figure out what is valuable, then that business need to go towards what is valuable, so you can start mastering it. So it can, the reason I say master it is so people will see that it's good enough to purchase. And if you're at a personal life, your personal self, and you're working and you're receiving a $20, whatever your amount, just saying, $20 an hour job, that value of a $20 per hour is not technically $20 an hour. It's literally 17, 16, 15, even though the number on your check or the debit card says 20. The value of it is only 17, 16, $15. Okay. So what do we do for the personal side of us? We need to do something other than what we're doing. Meaning, get your kids involved and say, hey guys, let's start something. Let's start selling something. Let's start doing something. Teach them about business. Teach them about starting up. Make sure they have licenses and agreements and all of that stuff. Make it legal, because the officers are out there, not all, are being a-holes. Anyway, the point is, you have to do something a little bit more than what you're normally doing, meaning you have to get outside of your comfort zone. And if you are in your comfort zone, then you're not going to make it. If inflation is not under control, if the debt ceiling, which I'm not concerned about because they always pass it, but the currency situation, if that is, which is coming, the value of the dollar is going to zero, then what are you going to do? So you have to hedge. Hedge simply means to, if one goes down, something else is going to go up. You want to buy that what goes up. If something else is going down, you want to hedge it. And you have kids and you have friends, and you guys can come together and you guys can start something, doing something. And it's going to take time. So I'm saying, do it now. Start it now. Who knows what now brings for tomorrow, right? You never know. So yes, so when it comes to business, you have to have A, B, and C product or service. And when it comes to the personal life, may I suggest get your kids involved and get your friends involved and start building something, start producing something. I don't know what, whatever you think a person may want or need, if they had to choose, right? If they don't have but a limited amount of money, what could you provide that they need? That's an idea. Just figure that out. But for those who really don't know, we need water, we need food, we need shelter, we need medical. Now, out of those 4 topics or subjects or industries, I'm sure you can find something that you can work out. And work it out, right? Same thing with your businesses. If you're producing a product or service, B product or service and or C product and service should be something towards water, food, shelter, medical, whatever that is. And the benefit of having a business is the fact that you can hire people. But make sure all your documents is good, and make sure all your business plans and PPMs and whatever you're producing is good, because the banks are getting squeezed also. And so lending is not in the forefront as of right now. Okay? So that's what I would say. If failing when you're not in charge of the making it or failing position, if you're not in charge and something outside is it just happened and you just didn't count for that, you failed, you have to go outside of your comfort zone. And when it comes to personal, you have to first start with no hope and then build trust. Look at my other videos. But when it comes to business, you have to get outside your comfort zone and get off of product A, product or service A, and then start working on product or service B, and so on. The future, we're talking about fiat currency, and we're talking about AI. AI is a benefit, but businesses, and I'm talking about big businesses, they're finding ways for them, the AI, to do your job. And so we have to think on the future, what that's going to look like. And they're working on it. And I don't know, they don't know. But whatever we do, we have to prepare for the future, especially when it's changing. The environment is changing, and that changing in context is something new. And therefore, what that new is, we don't know totally. We have an idea, but you need to get your relationships, your personal and your business, in position of thinking about what can I do for my future, right? It's going to be tough. So relationships, personal relationships, start merging together, start working together, come together with a common goal of let's get outside of our comfort zone, and let's start working towards something new, because something new is coming. All right, guys. So that's all I got or have today. Make sure I got all my notes. Yes. So that's all I got. And so hopefully you guys and girls, ladies, everyone is having a good time. Have a great and blessed week coming. If nothing else, let me know what you guys think, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and if you need assistance with your personal and or business, DM me, and I'll be do more of what I can do. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.